Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome back to the Back Dad Podcast. I'm Sterl. No, I did it wrong again. That is Mace, who's got an amazing image today. Who we've got?
Man, Mitch Johnson, where did it all go wrong in the finals? I'm not even here to talk about that. Just as of late, I've been really thinking that the Spurs really could have won this finals if Mitch Johnson was a competent coach for 5 games. He was doing good the entire season in this, but then we get to the draft, and boy, did they have a draft. And Mitch Johnson got himself some great bigs to help Wemby out. So hopefully, Mitch Johnson can take this team to the finals back to where they were again.
Yes, and let me tell you, we've got a great episode planned for you guys today. We're going to talk about some massive NBA trades that happened like 5 minutes after we hit end record on the last episode. So who knows? After we hit record today, we're going to get a notification Jaylen Brown has been traded or fucking Kawhi has been traded. We're going to, of course, talk about the NBA draft because that's top of mind right now. And if you stay tuned till the very end of the episode, we were actually supposed to record this yesterday, but if you want to know why we couldn't, you stay tuned to the end of the episode for our first ever Unpacked segment. But first things first, Giannis Antetokounmpo has been traded to the Miami Heat and Bobby Portis. Don't forget about Bobby Portis. This saga's been going on for forever, and I think the number one thing I'm excited about is just that this is over and we can just not talk about it anymore. But the Heat, at least, with those two superstars, look pretty dangerous. I don't expect them to be too crazy next year because I still think there's more to do for that roster construction. But man, it's over. It's finally just over. That's the number one thing that I'm just. It's a feeling of relief. How are you feeling?
I completely agree. I personally didn't care if Giannis was going to get traded or not, but the amount of times John Ferrani just kept tweeting about it, like, oh, it might happen, it might happen. At some point, like, oh my God, decide. Are you staying or are you going? The Miami Heat now have like no roster. They have like 8 players. Uh, they have like no good guards, which I think they drafted. No, they didn't draft them. They didn't have their fucking picks. But
No, they drafted a guy. I don't know if he's Ryan Conwell in the second round.
I'm not too familiar with his game, but yeah, they gave up quite a bit. They gave up Harrow, Kalaware, Pelly Larson, Casper Yakachonis, and a few picks. I think the Bucks got a pretty good return. You got Kalaware who can kind of be like a Wemby or Chet Light, like not nearly as good, but he still has like the same kind of skill set. Harrow will give you some points. I think Yakachonis can develop into a decent role playing guard. And then Pelly Larson, he's there for depth. He can do a little bit of everything. Not a big
He
deal.
didn't get traded.
I thought Pelly Larson did.
No, he's still on the team. Did you say
Who?
Jaime Jaquez?
That's what I'm thinking of. How my hockey
Yeah.
is. I don't know why I get them confused sometimes. Like both wings on the Heat. Either way, but yeah, Hawkins will give you some points, play some good defense. But overall, I don't think either team really lost here. The Heat are now in win now mode. They have the guy that scored 83 and Giannis. I'm not gonna get too much into this because there's gonna be a whole segment later probably. But maybe a possible LeBron reunion with Miami one last time. There has been talks about it. We'll get into where he's gonna go later. I don't believe in it, but it could happen. But yeah, the Bucks got a lot younger, got a lot of good assets in the Heat win now mode. Both teams got to make things happen.
Absolutely. And there's a possibility Norman Powell is just not going to be back now that this is going on. They might not be able to pay him. So that's something to look out for in this free agency. But I think the number one thing, they have to get some shooters because defensively, that team, you could just put those 8 guys out there right now and they'll be a top 10 defense in the NBA. The thought of Bam and Giannis, that's scary. That's the best defensive front court since what? I don't even know.
Sampson and Hakeem, no,
Ralph Sampson, Hakeem.
Probably not that good. Probably more like David Robinson, Tim Duncan kind of thing. But
yeah,
I don't know. Either way.
But yeah,
and then Davion Mitchell.
Yeah, Davion too. You've got solid guys off the bench as well. Miami, they preach defense as long as I've been alive. So A team like this is going to be something else. But yeah, it's finally over. It's going to be so weird seeing Giannis in a different jersey. I mean, that's just going to be strange. But the Bucks got a good return. There's a direction. Unfortunately, they don't have a first round pick next year. So I hope you guys are not the worst team in the league, so the Pelicans get a better chance of getting y'all's pick. But yeah, exciting stuff in Miami and a good future it's looking like for the Milwaukee Bucks. The next trade that we found out was in talks on Wednesday night. We wake up Thursday morning and we find out it's already done. LaMelo Ball has been traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I'd like to point out that I did call it. We were like that night going over teams that could potentially.
I was like, wait, 10:30.
I know exactly who it's gonna be. It's gonna be Minnesota. So yeah, it's an interesting trade. So it was LaMelo Ball and Josh Green to Minnesota for Naz Reid, along with an unprotected, I think it was 2032 or 33 first round pick, 3 pick swaps, I think it's 29, 31, and 33 or 32, and then 3 second round picks. So interesting trade on the Hornets part, I would say. I think it's weird. Like Shams didn't outright say the Hornets are shopping LaMelo Ball. All they said was they're listening to offers. And like, I get that you have an obligation as general manager to listen to offers, right? But I just find it weird that right when you see the light at the end of the tunnel, you have your best season in a really, really long time. And that's all basically on LaMelo Ball's back. I mean, he was the offense. They were one of the best statistically and most fun offenses to watch with him on the court. But now you decide when you really have that core to trade him. So that's a little interesting to me. We quickly found out why. They wanted Kobe White, and they saw an opportunity to get a really good big man out of it, I guess, which is something they needed. But I don't know. I think it's a home run for Minnesota. I do think it's a little risky. But maybe I think Ja Morant was still out there, and I still think Ja Morant's better than LaMelo. But and Ja Morant is very buy low. But I guess they just saw more of a future with LaMelo working out better with this team. So I don't know. It's a really, really interesting trade. What do you think? As a Hornets fan, what do you think?
As a Hornets fan, I had mixed feelings because the whole reason I became a Hornets fan was for LaMelo Ball. I was not a Hornets fan until he got drafted, and I really told myself, whatever team he goes to, that is my new team. And now that he's gone, I will say I'm not jumping ship. I'm gonna stick it out right here. I don't mind, but it's weird. It is weird for the Hornets. I mean, he just averaged 20-7 last year, and he's been averaging really good numbers ever since he came into the league. Pretty much. I mean, he's guaranteed like a few triple doubles a year. It seems. Puts a good. He can rebound well as a guard. He can pass. He can shoot. But his defense has always been kind of an issue. But my thing is, I don't know why we traded him now. Like, if this was 2 or 3 years down the line, I'd get it. But LaMelo is still 24 years old, and we just had a season where him and Continental were both 1 and 2 in threes made in the league. I mean, I don't see how you see that for one season and think, yeah, we're good, I've seen enough. I wanted to see at least 3 or 4 seasons of that. But I do see the LaMelo injury concerns. I do see that he's a liability on defense. So as much as I hate to say it, I don't really mind the trade. I mean, we got a ton of picks out of it. We get one of the most crafty big men in the league, and we just get a lot more depth at big, which is what we needed, like you said. I mean, we have Kalkbrenner, we have Musa, and now we have Naz Reid, and that's really helpful for us. And it's going to be sad to see him go, but for all the picks we got and for Naz Reid, I don't think that it was a horrible move.
All right. Yeah, it's super interesting. I'm very excited to see how it plays out on the court, especially for the Wolves. And I'm still excited to see the Hornets. But I mean, let's not act like it's going to be Facundo Campazzo that's starting up.
Yeah, we drafted Christian Anderson.
Well, it won't be him either. You still got Kobe White.
Oh yeah, but
Kobe White, but you have a good guard rotation. It's still Kobe White, Christian Anderson. You give him an opportunity to play, Christian Anderson, and I think he's a guy that can step in right away and play. So that the Hornets are still going to be fun to watch. It's going to be not as flashy without LaMelo, but I still think they're going to be a really good team.
at least the streets of Charlotte are safe.
Yeah, right.
That's the real winner of this trade.
Yeah.
No teams won. Just the city of Charlotte in general won.
All right, and hey, they're putting a lot of belief in Khan. That's really what this is telling me. Like Khan, we saw your rookie year. You're the franchise player now. So
LaMelo, we're good, bro.
yeah,
Khan Knipples here.
Khan and Kobe White, we're fine. And now Nas Reed too. So that'll be something. I'm curious to see who they end up starting at center. If it's going to be Nas, if it's going to be Musa, or if it's going to be Ryan Kalkbrenner. So that's something to watch out for. All right. Let's get into the real bread and butter of this episode, and that is giving grades to every single NBA team on their draft. We've got a tier list here. I'll leave it up to you here if you want to do this because you see the S tier. If you want to leave it, I have a team that I could confidently say won this draft. Like there's one team that I think far and away won it.
I mean, I completely agree. I think S should absolutely stay there, and I think only one team should go there.
And you probably see this NA tier. There's only one team that did not make a selection in this draft, and that is the Portland Trailblazers. So sorry, guys, you're just gonna be here. Any Blazers fans watching this? That's too bad. But hey, you didn't have. There's worse reasons to not have a first round pick. I don't know why you didn't have a second round pick, but the reason you didn't have a first round pick is because you made the playoffs. If you would have been in the lottery, it would have been your first round pick. But because you made the playoffs, it's going to Chicago. And that's not the only thing the Bulls stole from you this offseason. Anyway, we're going to go in order of the draft. So the first pick belonged to the Washington Wizards. And I put like A+. I'm not saying I gave them an A+, but just an example, A+ to kind of, see where I kind of have them in the tier because we're still going to put them in order. But, A- are going towards the bottom of A. But that was the total lie. I did give the Wizards an A+. I mean, it was a layup of a draft, and they did great. They come out of this with A.J. DeBonsa, of course, the number 1 overall pick. And at number 46, they picked Felix Okpara, brother of KZ. Shout out to KZ. But, man, the Wizards look nice. A.J. DeBonsa was a no-brainer there at number 1. So, I mean, you got to give him an A+. They did what they were supposed to do.
I mean, yeah, this is an easy A+. Sterl knows more than anybody. I am a huge DeBonsa Glazer. Just for the next – I want to say the next 2 years, I will be glazing so many of these guys coming into the draft because I've just watched them in high school on the EYBL circuit at Peach Jam. I know a lot of these players. But, yeah, just getting AJ DeBonsa in general should give you an A+. I don't care if they would have drafted AJ DeBonsa and like Shabiz Al-Muhammad. I don't care. I don't care who the second guy is. I know it's Okpala's brother. It could have been the candle sitting on my desk right now. It still would be an A+ if you got AJ DeBonsa.
It could have been the Saints coaster.
Yes.
All right. The number 2 pick was the Utah Jazz. I'll let you start this one off. I'll tell you who all they got. I believe they only got one player. I believe they literally only drafted Darren Peterson, but I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure that's how it played out. Let's see. I wish it was in order of the picks. The Utah Jazz did only select Darren Peterson. So what tier do you think this goes in? I think it's pretty obvious.
Pretty obvious it goes in A tier. I don't know if I would give this an A or an A-. I wouldn't go A+ solely because of the reason that Darren Peterson expressed that he didn't want to go to any other team except for the Wizards. And I'm not quite sure how he's going to fit with the team chemistry. I mean, you have a very ball-dominant guard who has shown flashes of Kobe and all the things that he does very, very well. I mean, but his attitude, I don't know how he's going to fit. I mean, you already have Lauri Markkanen who don't pass the ball. Now you're adding Darren Peterson who don't pass the ball. And sure, you have a point guard with Keontae George who just had a breakout season, started having a lot of assists. I mean, he's gonna help, but he's not gonna do much. And then you look at your big man situation. Walker Kessler is just he's probably gone, or is he already gone?
We don't know yet.
All right, we don't know yet. So he's well. Everyone thinks that he's most likely gonna walk. So you lose big man depth. So
Well,
I
it
would have gone
depends.
Cam Boozer.
Now that iHeart's going back to LA or not
Yeah,
to OKC, now I think it gives the opportunity for the Lakers to offer Walker Kessler, for example, something big that the Jazz won't be able to match because he's a restricted free agent. So
yeah.
we'll see what happens there.
And then that leaves what? It leaves Jaren Jackson Jr. Cool height, averages like 6 boards a game at 6'11". So you needed a guy who can get you rebounds and can play some defense. It can do everything that the traditional big man should be able to do. Which I think they should have gone Cam Boozer. But Peterson's, regardless, still a great player, arguably the best guard prospect in a long time. So I'll give it an A.
Yeah, I put A plus because I mean, in hindsight, I mean he's the best player on the board. You don't get a guy like Darren Peterson often to be like a consolation prize, so to speak, that you didn't get the number one pick. So you end up with a guy that would be the number one pick in like 96% of NBA drafts. Um, so I did put A plus, but not hearing what you had to say, I don't think it's above Washington. So I mean, I'll like put it A. But yeah, Darren Peterson is I think he's the best player in this draft. And if you can walk away with the best player in this draft, you win. So yeah, they belong right there in A tier. Now, number 3 pick was the Memphis Grizzlies, and this is the team that I wanted to keep S tier for. Was this for you too?
No.
Really?
Straight up no. Straight up no.
Okay. Well, what do you think about top of A tier?
I mean, I'm completely fine with that. I think the Grizzlies were.
We can
Man,
meet in the middle. Your team can go up in S, and my team can go up in S.
I think there are 3 teams that can be said that they won the draft, and the Grizzlies are one of them. So I'm not mad at you putting them there.
This
But
this
I
is
just think
what I think.
yeah.
This is what I think about the Grizzlies draft. I think they put together a draft class for their team that can work in this scenario that Ja Morant stays and in the scenario that Ja Morant is gone. I think Cam Boozer will fit perfectly with Ja Morant, and I think he's the perfect star to start your rebuild around. And not only that, you guys keep trading back and back and back, and you land a guy that was mocked to be a lottery pick in a lot of people's mock drafts in Kareem Lopez. And then you go out in the second round, you get a lights out shooter in Richie Saunders, who is the great grandson of the man that invented the tater tot. So that's pretty cool. But no, Cam Boozer, he's the guy that I think has the highest floor in this draft. I think when you draft Cam Boozer, you say this dude's going to be an NBA player no matter what. Just he brings everything at that 4 position. I mean, he's so strong and he's a winner. And I think grit and grind. I don't know if they still run with that mantra with the Memphis Grizzlies organization, but I'll tell you, Cam Boozer fits that mold perfectly. And it's not often that he's again a consolation prize for getting the number 3 pick. Cam Boozer would be the number 1 pick. I mean, we could go draft by draft by draft, and in over 50% of those draft classes, Cam Boozer's probably the number 1 pick. So, I mean, this is just crazy, the top end talent in this draft. And Memphis ends up with Cam Boozer at the number 3 pick. But that's not all. Kareem Lopez, I think, is going to be a really good NBA player. And then you got Richie Saunders, a shooter. So along with that young core in Memphis, you can succeed as a team that's looking to rebuild for the next few years, that's trying to get more draft picks. Or if you want to go for a play-in spot with Ja Morant being healthy this season, it works. Because I think Cam Boozer should be your Rookie of the Year favorite right off the rip. That's my pick right now where we stand for Rookie of the Year, because I think he's just going to have more opportunities than these other guys who have other mouths to feed in Washington and Utah. But I think Memphis nailed this draft. Home run. S tier Memphis. I mean, great stuff.
I mean, yeah, I completely agree. I love the Kareem Lopez pick. I mean, you got a great wing with good size who can do everything on the
No,
court.
timeout. Obafemi won.
Oba won.
Oba won King of the Ring.
My guy, did he tell me that they actually listened to the fans? They didn't let main event Jey Uso snatch his chain. Oh yes,
I'm sorry,
ladies,
guys.
and-
We've been
ladies,
stressing about this WWE match for weeks.
ladies and gentlemen, if y'all think I glazed Wembenyama and Nabanta a lot, y'all don't even understand my glaze for Obafemi. Ooh, okay, that's exciting. I love. Thank God they listened, bro.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Memphis Grizzlies, from
Well,
Obafemi to Cam Boozer. That's why you got to listen to the Pack That podcast.
yeah.
Where do you get this anywhere else?
All right. As I was saying, but thank God you interrupted me there. That's honestly more. That's honestly life changing for me to know that. But yeah, Kareem Lopez has great size for a wing. He can do a little bit of everything. He has good defense, and he played at the highest level he played at arguably the highest level of basketball outside of the NBA. Since the age of 14. He won some kind of award at 17 years old. He's got a lot of skill, a lot of upside. I'm excited to see him play. I'm going to kind of skip over Richie Saunders because, quite frankly, I'm not a fan of his grandfather's creation. Unfortunately, I'm not a tater tot man. So I'm gonna
see. I won't really go out of my way to have them, but if they're there, I'm cool with it.
I'm telling you like this. Here's the way I put it: if if the only option for a side is tater tots, fine, I'll eat a few. But if there is any other kind of French fry or French fry variant, I'm taking that. I don't care if it's a wedge. I don't care if it's waffle fries. I don't care if it's shoestring. I don't care if it's steak fries. I don't care. This is not at all what I was to talk about today, but okay.
Yeah, we
But
went from Obafemi back to Cam Boozer to Richie
tots.
Saunders to Tater Tots. I mean, this is just the
Okay.
best podcast in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm not even you need to read it, whatever the word is for it. Anyway, but I'm really gonna start the selling point on Cam Boozer here. I think that teams are so fascinated now with high upside that everyone forgets what everyone forgets just how good it is to have the highest floor out of anybody.
Right.
I mean, look at what happened last year. Last year's draft, everyone saw the Con pick as, yeah, Con Kniffle. Did he have the highest? Did he have the highest upside out of anybody left? No, but he had the highest floor. They could guarantee he was going to be at least somewhat good no matter where he was. And look at that work. Look at that worked out. The Grizzlies get a guy with the highest floor in the draft by far, if you ask me. And I think Boozer, honestly, if the Wizards weren't in a predicament where they already had Anthony Davis, I think he could have been the first overall pick, and I wouldn't have been mad. I mean, Boozer is just so good, and no one appreciates a high floor anymore. And I think they need to start putting more emphasis on that, especially after seeing what Con Knipple did, and hopefully what Cam Boozer can do. That being said, I would put them above the Wizards at A+, but I am not mad at all at S tier. They did an amazing job this draft, and if I'm a Grizzlies fan, I'm nothing but happy.
Absolutely. And again, in both scenarios, keeping or trading Ja, this works, in my opinion. This works. Next up, we have got the team with the number 4 pick, and that is the Chicago Bulls, who walk out of here with Caleb Wilson at the number 4 overall pick, as well as Dalen Swain at number 15. What do we think about this? All
right off the bat, I'm going to come out and say it. I think Caleb Wilson has the highest upside of any player in the draft. Now, will he be the best? Don't know. We have to wait and see. But I think if everyone were to be as good as they could possibly be, he would be the best. I mean, he has a very, very similar play style to that of Giannis and Kevin Garnett. He needs to develop a 3-point shot. And even if he doesn't, look what people like I just said, Kevin Garnett and Giannis were able to do in the league without having a very good 3-point shot. And it's not like his 3-point shot's that horrible. It's just inefficient. His shot looks fine. The shot isn't bad. He's just not hitting them. And as long as you keep working on it, eventually they will start to fall. I mean, look at Paul George. Paul George's rookie season, he shot like 29% from 3. And then he was like up in the mid to high 30s for the rest of his career pretty much. Yeah. You can 100% work on a shot as long as you have the right mechanics for it. And Caleb Wilson definitely does.
They could teach you how to shoot in the NBA for sure.
Exactly. So I think that Bulls get an A. I would put them in the middle of the Wizards and Jazz.
Okay.
But Dalen Swain, I was never really that sold on. I'll be honest. Don't know too much about his game, so I'm not going to make any comments so I don't sound stupid about not knowing ball. I'll just be honest. I'll be the honest man and say I don't know much about him. I didn't know that people were very high on him, and for reasons I don't see. But the fact that you get Caleb Wilson, who would also, like the other three in this draft, could be a first overall pick in many other drafts in NBA history, at four, you get a chance to redeem yourself on a Patrick Williams pick.
Yep.
And last time y'all drafted a guy out of UNC, it worked pretty well.
Yeah, the last two times. You have good history with the Bulls drafting guys from UNC. Obviously, Kobe White back in 2019 and some Michael Jordan guy.
Yeah, I was referring to Kobe White. I wasn't referring to whoever that bum is over there.
Yeah. Nobody knows who that is. I would agree with that A pick. I think them and Utah are interchangeable, but I'm cool putting them over. Caleb Wilson is a stud. He's going to be a beast. Him and Modest are going to be such a fun duo at that 3 and 4 spot. And with Josh Giddey, I think it now puts a lot of pressure on you to go get shooters, not only at that 2 spot, but at that 5 spot. And they have Nicholas Claxton. He's not a shooter. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens in terms of 3-point shooting for that team. But who knows? But Dalen Swain, I mean, you talk about a guy that has high offensive upside. He can definitely help in terms of, 3-level scoring. There's some more polish that needs to be done to his game, but obviously they see a good leader in him. They talked about that during the draft. So, we'll definitely see what happens. There's still more to do for the Bulls in this offseason. But, Caleb Wilson and Modest Buzelis, I mean, those fast breaks with Josh Giddey, I mean, there are going to be some highlights. There are going to be some highlights that you're going to be seeing all next season along with those two. The number 5 pick in the draft was the Los Angeles Clippers, and they walk out of here with that number 5 pick, Keaton Wagler. And in the second round, they go ahead and get Baba Miller at 36, Nick Martinelli at 55, and a weird situation with this Narcisse Ngoy. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. He gets drafted by the Clippers, but is now going to Auburn. So
yeah,
strange.
Do you know how that works, by the way?
Is it like a draft and stash kind of thing?
It's exactly what it is. It's a draft and stash.
I think the Clippers did well. I think, well, like I said about Keaton Wagler in the mock, he holds a lot of. It's a better fit with Garland because I think Keaton Wagler holds a lot of value as if he's not the primary ball handler, he's just fine being a spot up shooter. So as much as I wasn't really the biggest fan of his game, I think he's going to be a good NBA player. As far as the rest goes, I know about Baba Miller, Nick Martinelli. I saw, a few things during the draft, but I think the big thing is Wagler fits well alongside Garland, and who knows what happens with Kawhi. But I think he'll fit well next to Kawhi as well, especially with that kind of the lacking defense. I think this is somewhere between a B+ and a B. Is what I'm thinking here for the Clippers.
See, I completely agree. I would put them in B tier, and that's just purely based off of the Keaton Wagler pick. I'm not even taking the other picks into consideration here because they're players that I don't know too much about. I know their names, but I don't know their skill sets, what they're good at, what their flaws are. So I'm not gonna make comments on them. My main concern with Keaton Wagler is the boomer bust potential. We've seen so many of these players in the past where they've been drafted just based on oh my God, look at this guy shooting and his upside. It can be amazing. But then they just are also well, if he's either going to be really good or really bad. And a lot of times it ends up as the latter option, unfortunately. First guy that comes to mind is not a guard, but is Dragon Bender. Everyone, when he was coming into the draft, everyone's like, look at this guy. This guy can literally be he's 7 foot. He has decent defense. He can shoot. He can put the ball on the floor. He can finish inside. This guy can do everything. And then he did not do anything. So I'm scared with the potential. I think Wagler will always be a scorer who's in the teens and could maybe jump into that 20s point at some point in his career if he becomes the main options for scoring. But I think B is pretty fair. I mean, you get the best shooter in the draft, arguably. and he's not undersized. He has NBA size. He has NBA shooting. So there's not too much to hate about it.
Absolutely. At number 6, it was the Brooklyn Nets. And they walked out of this draft with, of course, the number 6 pick being Michael Brown Jr., one of the first shocks of this draft, as well as Joshua Jefferson at number 28. That pick they acquired from the Julius Randle trade. They trade their 33rd pick to Minnesota for Julius Randle and the 28th pick. And the Bulls walked out of that with Nick Claxton. And in round 2, they drafted Tyler Bilodeau. This is interesting. I'm curious to see what you think about this.
Okay, so there's one thing that the Nets have, and that's guards. It just so happens to be unfortunate that the best players in this draft are all guards, except for the 2 4s who got drafted at the 34th pick. So nothing you can really do
And
there.
number 1.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to take what's available to you, and you got to take the best player available. But I don't think Mikael Brown was. I think they should have gone Darius Acuff, or at the very least, Kingston Flemings. I get the idea Mikael Brown has shown very, very good playmaking abilities at times. He has good size. Defense isn't lackluster. He can do everything pretty well, but he is prone to some very dumb turnovers. He does take a few dumb shots when he doesn't need to, and he kind of had a lot of bad stretches. Like when the season first started, he wasn't doing bad, wasn't doing horrible. Then he started doing really, really good. Then he had a few games where he was just terrible. Oh, maybe not terrible, but there was a few games where you were like, "Dang, this guy's a lottery pick." But overall, he had a good season at Louisville. He has the size. He has the playmaking abilities. Now, does he have like the playmaking IQ? We'll see if that develops. But he has the ability to make these impressive passes in the correct reads, and his ability to knock down some good 3-point shots at an effective clip. So overall, not too mad. But considering I had him as like my third best point guard, I think a B is fair.
Yeah, I think the main thing for the Nets is the fact that they're trying to be competitive. Like, they don't own their first round pick. They're not going to go the tanking route because obviously they still would have a chance to have the number 1 pick with this new lottery system. But they're trying to win. I mean, they got Julius Randle, who is one of the better floor raisers in terms of regular season play, along with Michael Porter Jr. And they wanted a guy. Yeah, and they wanted a guy to come in and they wanted to go with a more safe bet. Although I still think Acuff is more of a safe bet. I'm trying to think in their mind a point guard that could come in and start on a play-in team. And I think Acuff. I think you'd be more comfortable if you're a rebuilding team to kind of just let Acuff rock out, which is why we'll talk about that pick right up next. And I think that's beautiful for Darius Acuff. I think he needs that. But Michael Brown with this team, I think, is really good right now. I don't think they're above the Clippers, but I think that the Brooklyn Nets did fine. Joshua Jefferson too, great forward.
Yeah, and hold on. Before we move on, I do want to mention not one thing that no one's really addressing with this team is the size they have now at their starting lineup. I mean, this is I think, well not think this is kind of like confirmed unless they get a different center. Hold on, who's the center right now? Actually,
they have like Danny.
Dayron. I know they have Dayron Sharp. Well, Sharp is more like a 4-3 than a 4 and a 5.
I mean, they don't really have crazy size at the center.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. They're now going to have a 6'5" point guard. Well, technically 6'3.5". But that's really 6'4", 9 of the inch of the shoot. That's 6'5". 6'5" point guard. You have a 6'8" shooting guard with Yegor Demon. Mm-hmm. You have a 6'10" small forward with Michael Porter Jr. You have 6'8" Julius Randle, and then you have either J-Ron Sharp, who's like 6'9", or he's like 6'9"-ish. Or they decide to run Danny Wolffair, who's 7 foot. So they have size.
Yeah,
but they don't really have depth.
Plenty of cap room as well. So maybe they go out and get a big man.
Maybe they get Walker Kessler. They could really use him.
Could be. Moving on, we have the Sacramento Kings. I had a couple ideas on who maybe was your team in S tier. Is this one of them?
It is not.
Okay. But yeah, the Kings nailed this. I mean, Darius Acuff, you prayed and prayed and prayed that he fall to you at 7. It's been a long time since the Sacramento Kings front office has done something good. Obviously, last year they got a diamond in the rough in Maxime Reynaud in the second round. But I mean, walking out of this with Darius Acuff at 7, not only that, but you trade up to 29 and you grab Alex Caravan, which I would have loved to see him on a team like Cleveland who had that 29th pick. But hey, Sacramento loved him. They go get him. And now they actually have a nice young core. You look at their young core. You got Acuff. You got Neat Clifford. You got Maxime Reynaud. You got Caravan. You've got Dylan Cardwell, Devin Carter. Like, obviously, you still have those two guys. Well, three, actually. DeRozan, Levine, and Sabonis. You're probably stuck with Zach LaVine for this season because nobody wants to trade for that contract, and he's obviously going to take on his player option. Sabonis, they're trying to trade, and DeRozan, I think in a month's time, he may not even be on the team. So things are starting. They're a bit in between eras, but things are starting to look really, really good for the Kings. I think this is an A-tier draft. We can talk about where they kind of fit in there if you agree, but I think it's an A-tier for sure.
No, I completely agree. That is an A-tier draft. I mean, you get who I had as the best guard prospect of the entire draft, easily the best guard scorer, arguably the best scorer in general, even though Devonta averaged more points. The way that Acuff scored at his size is arguably more impressive than how Devonta scored at his size. Like, it's a lot easier to average. I say this like I even played organized basketball in high school. I didn't. But I think it's kind of common knowledge. It's a lot easier to average 26 points when you're 6'9" than it is to average 23 when you're 6'3". I mean,
right.
Again, one of arguably the best playmakers in the entire draft, one of the best shooters in the draft, one of the best scorers in the draft. I get the concerns with his defense, but there have been a plethora of guards who can't play defense, who have gone on to have long, illustrious careers.
One of them just won a freaking ring.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson just won a ring based off that narrative. Trae Young literally has been, I wouldn't say he's been running shit in Atlanta because he's not there anymore, but he was seen as one of their franchise players until they traded him. Yeah, and then people, and then people like they say, oh, Steph Curry doesn't have the best defense. Maybe he doesn't, but he's not as bad as Acuff. But even still,
he's developed it over the years.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't good. He came into the league, and everyone still thought, yeah, he's still one of the best. So I do like that people are being cautious with his defensive tendencies and his abilities to defend the ball. But I think people are looking at it a little bit too much. I think this is an A-tier draft, but I don't think it can go any higher than any other teams we have in A-tier right now.
Okay.
The other teams just have so much talent on both sides of the ball that even though Acuff's so good offensively, those guys are equally as good offensively with more defense. So I can't put them above them.
I can agree with that. The number 8 pick should have belonged to the New Orleans Pelicans, but you know what? I'm not even mad anymore, bro. I would rather Derek Queen than Kingston Flemings and Asa Newell. But anyway, the Atlanta Hawks had the number 8 pick. They walk out of this draft with Kingston Flemings at number 8. They go out and get Zuby Ejiofor at 23, and they get a steal in the second round. Henry Vazar out of North Carolina there at 52. What did you think about this Hawks draft? I think they did fantastic.
They did great. I think I have them actually one spot above the Kings in A tier.
I like that.
And it's solely because of the fact that they got rid of their point guard. They need a new one. They go out and get a guy who can score the ball, can pass the ball, and has great defense. Maybe not great, but it's still good defense.
Compared to the other 2 point guards that we just talked about. He's the best defender.
Ejiofor, I don't know what's about you. Unfortunately, I'm going to skip past you. You're probably the next Adem Bona, as you said, but no one can take his spot. But Henry Vazar, I don't know what caused him to fall. I mean, he had a great season efficiency-wise. He shot like 42% from the three-point line. Now, I will say, could that have been a fluke season? Maybe, because the other 2 seasons were way worse than 3. I think his first season was like the mid to low 20s, and the second season was like mid to low 30s. Then all of a sudden he's mid to low 40s. So this was either a fluke season for him behind the arc, or he's just getting really, really good. But we won't know for sure until we see him play this first game. But overall, I mean, I don't know why he fell so far. He was projected like a late first round talent at the very least.
We literally had him going in the first round in our mock draft.
Yeah, I'm going to the Celtics.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can get a guy who can run a guard and play good defense to go along with your our defensive-minded wing and guard Dyson Daniels and Nikhil Alexander Walker. But you get a guy who can go in at the center position and kind of stretch the floor a little bit, kind of like how Onyeka Okongwu was developed. So I think the Hawks deserve an A.
Absolutely. Kingston Flemings is just a really, really smart basketball player. And, you know, with CJ McCollum, he signed a 1-year deal to come back. I could see him being a deadline trade if Kingston Flemings is really performing well and just give him the full-on starting spot alongside Nikhil and Dyson Daniels and that whole core. The Hawks, I mean, the fact that they're not even supposed to be here and they walk out of here with one of the best point guards in this draft, as well as Zuby Ejiofor, who I think could – I'm not saying he's the next to Dembona. That's not what I said, but I think he could play a role similar to a Dembona, but Zuby can stretch the floor a little bit. He's an undersized center. He's not going to get all that many minutes, but he does a lot of the same things that Onyeka does as a shorter big man. And Henry Vasar, I'd imagine he would start in like the G League. Maybe, maybe he's the guy that you could throw in there as a third string center if one of those two guys is in foul trouble, and he'll fit right in because he can do a lot of the same things that those two other guys did. So yeah, I definitely think this is an A-tier draft. I would agree they're right above Sacramento. I think that's a good shout. Now, this is one of the more polarizing teams from this draft, the Dallas Mavericks, with Masai Ujiri's first draft as the president, GM, whatever you want to call it. They walk out of that first round with Morez Johnson Jr. at number 9. Sergio De La Rey at number 25, and in round 2 they get Toby Lawal and Visevlad. I'm not even gonna say it. Visevlad Ishenko. I apologize for that butchering, but the Michigan Mavericks, Dusty May as head coach. They bring in his big man Morez Johnson. Did you think at all when we were preparing for this draft that Morez Johnson was going to be picked before Adai Mara and Yaxel?
No. Now, if you would recall, I'm pretty sure the last podcast we did when we were making the mock draft, I'm pretty sure I did say I wouldn't be surprised to see a Wolverine go here, and I was right. It turns out I was just talking about Yaxel Lindborg, not Morez Johnson. If you would have told me that Morez Johnson was a top 10 pick at any point in this draft prospect, in this entire process of like the NBA draft, the combine, everything, I would have looked at you and said, where did you learn ball? Because I want to tell them that they're wrong.
And the crazy thing about it is when Michigan won the national championship, I think we literally hopped on here and we said the stocks for these guys can only rise.
Oh, yeah. I remember exactly said that.
Crazy. I mean, we were at Buffalo Wild Wings when this happened, and Shams tweeted something like, there's going to be a Wolverine off the board at this pick. And we all just looked at each other like, Yaxel. We look up at the TV, it's Morez Johnson. We're like, what?
I mean, all I can really say is Morez is not a bad player, but at 9 is crazy. Y'all could have traded back to like 14 and still got him.
I'll do you one better. You could have just picked Braden Burries, who I think would have fit perfectly alongside Cooper Flagg. The main thing here with Dusty May at Michigan, if you remember, he loved to run those big-ass lineups. So you have like Cooper Flagg, who they tried at point guard for a little while. It didn't go great, but, I mean, he can do it. So you can – I mean, maybe he runs a Cooper Flagg, P.J. Washington, Morez Johnson, Derek Lively lineup, which would be strange, but Dusty May tried that kind of stuff at Michigan. So in terms of grade, where do we think this lands?
Well, hold on. I'm not finished. I got to talk about one player in specific here. Toby motherfucking Lawal. For the viewers, I've been watching this man since he was at VCU, and is he kind of just Cohen Carr but skinnier? Absolutely. Do I care? Not at all. I love Toby Lawal so much. At least he's shown like he can kind of shoot the ball. The defense isn't bad. But I tell you what, this man is going to be in the dunk contest one day. Mark my words. I really love that pick, just solely because I love Toby Lawal. But as a draft and whole, I think it's got to be a C tier. I mean, everyone that they got could have been gotten. Everyone that they got, sure, they're good players, could have been gotten later.
I don't think this was the draft to follow up getting a generational talent last year.
No.
Absolutely not. We've been going on these first 9 picks for a long time. I promise you, we're going to talk about the first round picks a lot. Once we get to the teams that were kind of second round only and late first round picks, it'll be less to talk
Yeah,
about.
yeah. Once you're at like pick 15 or 20, and once you get like pick 20, so they go start speeding by.
All
They
right,
start
up
speeding by.
next. Up next is the Milwaukee Bucks, who of course trade away their franchise goat Giannis, but walk out of here with a decent haul. They get a steal, I think, with Braden Berries at 10. They get Nate Mint, who is a very much boom or bust prospect, and Malik Lewis at the 60th pick. Nate Mint is one of the most polarizing prospects in this draft. I've never seen somebody that's been mocked in the top 10 so much, but yet hated by everyone that mocked him in the top 10. I think obviously he had that growth spurt, so he's still trying to grow into his body in terms of his play style. But just the inefficiencies in his game kind of make you, a little bit, I don't want him. But I still think, I mean, we've seen prospects like him, raw prospects, develop into really good players. So I have faith in Taylor Jenkins, the Bucks head coach, who developed a lot of guys at Memphis, that he can help develop Nate Mint into a very decent player. Walking out of this draft after trading away the franchise GOAT, I think you're happy if you're a Bucks fan. Braden Berries is a guy, two-way player that's very high level. And, he's very much in that same Tyler Hero type of play style. But I think you trust Braden Berry's defense a lot more than you trust Tyler Hero. And the Nate Mint is a project. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts off in the G League just to kind of develop his game and get him ready for that next level. The best thing about Milwaukee is you have time. Time is on your side. You are rebuilding. Time is on your side. So I think it's good. This is a great situation. It would have been way worse if they drafted Nate Mint with Giannis, but you don't have Giannis, so he really can take that time to develop. So from that aspect, I really like it. I think I'm in B. I think I don't know if I'm top of B, but it's definitely above Brooklyn, I think.
I mean, yeah, I completely agree. I mean, here's kind of the way I see it. I have them above the Clippers. I think they are top of B. Okay. Here's my logic. What's better than one great player? Two great players. And that is exactly what the Bucks potentially get. I mean, you get Braden Berries, one of the best shooters in the draft, leading scorer on Arizona, took him to the Final Four, I believe, with help of like other people around him, obviously, but he was a main part of that. And then you have Nate Mint, who, if you look at just his skill set, he can do a little bit of everything, but it just so kind of happens that he's inefficient with what he does. I mean, only shot, I think, 40.1% from the field and 33% from the three-point line. You got to get those numbers up if you want to be a wing in the NBA who's especially got your skill set. However, I do think part of it is attributed to him just, like you said, growing body. You got to learn how to get used to that. I think Nate Mint can be a great rotational player, probably a decent end starter for a lot of teams. And Braden Berries will be a great catch and shoot guy. Not just catch and shoot. He can go off the dribble too and make his own shot. So I think a B plus is very fair for Bucks. I'll be very happy if I'm a Bucks fan.
Next up is the Golden State Warriors, who I think they had 2 picks. Yes, the round 1 pick, of course, being the face of Michigan basketball national championship team last season,
Yaxel
Lindeborg, and round 2 they go get Leger Jones, who I literally know nothing about before this draft, and now after I didn't even know who he was when they picked him. This is the draft, I think, through 2 rounds. I knew most people. I was proud of myself and my scouting. But yeah, Yaxel. I think right now, I started off the last one, so you go ahead. Talk about Yaxel. There's a lot of things to love about Yaxel, I think.
Okay, if Yaxel Lindeborg was not 23 years old, he would have been a top 5 pick. That's all I'm going to say. First of all, just first off, he has all the skills to be a top 5 player. He just wasn't because of his age, and that's a big concern for a lot of GMs. Just the fact that he's old as a prospect. But there's been a lot of rumors of LeBron going to Golden State. I tell you what, if that doesn't happen, y'all at least get Dominican LeBron. I mean, Yaxel can do everything at a very high level, and he's developed a really good 3-point shot. He made more threes this past year at Michigan than his past 2 seasons combined. Uh, we've seen the slashing highlights. We've seen he can make great plays on defense. If I'm a Warriors fan, like Flight reacts, I'll be jumping for joy seeing that we just got a very, very good 3 to 4 right there. But his problem is that he's not. How do I say this? Despite him being the most matured player in the draft, he is one of the most immature. Did you see his
Yeah,
post-draft interviews?
he talked
I
about
mean,
hating Steph.
yeah.
And then he like talked about Michigan State banter, Michigan State banter with
No, hold
Draymond
on.
Green, which is all fine.
Yeah. But no, it's worse now. He got another interview, and he said like, yeah, I know the Warriors don't
Talking about
really
Steve
play
Kerr.
yeah, I know Curtis doesn't really play his rookies, but looking at the roster now, I might have to start. You don't
I
say
mean,
that about your
is he
team,
lying
bro.
though?
Is he lying? No, but that's just something that you just don't
Yeah.
say to the media in that kind of manner. It makes it sound like oh, all my teammates are trash. Even if that's true, you don't say that to the media.
Don't say that about Pods, man. Pods.
Now, I will give this a B. I don't know where it goes though, to be honest with you. You can put it anywhere on there as long as it's not above the Bucks. I'm
Yeah,
happy.
I think I'm gonna go right in between Brooklyn and LA.
I'm a-okay with that.
Yeah, because Yaxel, I mean, the Warriors got a guy that's perfect because Yaxel is old enough, has winning experience. He's like a veteran, but in a rookie scenario.
He's an old soul, as some people would
Yes,
say.
he's an old soul. And that's what the Warriors need. They're still trying to win now with Steph. Yaxel is a very much win now prospect, so they get in perfectly with that. So that's pretty much all there is to say. He brings value in literally all aspects of the game. Yaxel is a fantastic all around player. Just the only problem is he's 23. But I don't think it's necessarily a problem with the Golden State Warriors. It's just what's worrisome is if they get off to a bad start and Yaxel is the one starting, and now Steve Kerr kind of puts him in a Jonathan Kuminga situation where he just hates him. So that's something to look out for. I don't know, but yeah, Steve Kerr's reputation with rookies is not great. So we'll see if this changes. Up next, we've got, oh my goodness. This is your S tier team, I bet. Number 12 pick, OKC Thunder. OKC Thunder. Oh my goodness. The rich just keep getting richer, don't they? I mean, they walk out of this draft round 1. They get Adai Mara at number 12. They trade up with Memphis from 17 to 16 and get Bennett Sturts. And in round 2, they get Otega Owe out of Kentucky. A steal in round 2. A great guy to get in round 2. Oh my goodness. Since this is your team, please go ahead. Start us off again.
Where do I even begin? Sam Presti, I love you. I will have your kids if I could. All I gotta say is the only reason the Thunder lost to the Spurs is because they couldn't stop Wemby, and then they counter that by going get a 7'3", 260-pound center, average 2.5 blocks a game in the highest level of basketball, who won a national championship. Then they followed up and go get Bennett Sturgis, who some consider a top 3 shooter and overall just perimeter threat in this entire draft. Owe, don't know much about him, but I know he has good defense. I think he's mostly known for his defense, which is you can never have too much defense. I don't know how the league had one job. Don't let OKC get the guy to stop Wemby. And what did the league do? They gave OKC the guy most likely to stop Wemby based on size and defensive abilities. I mean, people don't realize just how similar in, I wouldn't say build, because build's not the word, but just in height that him and Wemby are. When Wemby went to the combine, he was listed barefoot, 7'3.5". Adai Mara, 7'3". Only a half-inch difference with, a shorter wingspan, but that doesn't necessarily play too much of a difference when you're only a half-inch shorter. I mean, as long as you have the right defensive instincts and like timing, you'll be able to stop Wemby a decent bit, or at least slow him down, which is all OKC needs. So yeah, S tier.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like I said, the rich just get richer. And obviously, I think Bennett Sturts comes in as the hold on. excuse me, the Aaron Wiggins slash Isaiah Joe replacement. They've both been traded in the span of the last week or so. Um, but yeah, high level shot maker off the bench, and he could play right away. So yeah, S tier. I mean, okay, it's just insane. Sam Presti is he's the goat. He really is. Um, oh, and the Paul George trade is now complete with the Ade Mara selection. Uh,
Sure is.
it is complete. They walk out with Shea, J Dub, and Ade Mara. Good job, Clippers. Next up is the Charlotte Hornets. I'm gonna have you go first again, since both your teams here back to back. Let's
Okay.
go
Well,
see their haul, so I can tell you for sure. Obviously, we know Hannes Steinbach as well as Christian Anderson. Those are the only two picks in round one, 14 and 18. How are you feeling?
I mean, I think this is an A. I would put this right above the Hawks, and we get a guy who's been filling our four, which is something that we've really been needing for a long time. Miles Bridges, you're a fine player, I guess. Person, but a player, you know what? You did what you could. But I think everyone agrees it's time for us to get a better four with better size, and that's exactly what Steinbach does. And then Christian Anderson, I don't know much about you, but I do know that you were very highly touted by a few people, and that honestly, I'm happy to have you because you can never have. How do I say this? You can have too much young on your team, but I think this team is good enough to where it won't really matter that much. One thing I gotta say, because this thought has not left my head, I have never seen a man with bigger hands in my entire life than Steinbach's dad. His dad,
Yeah.
holy frick, dude. I'm pretty sure he could palm me by my head and lift me up. His hands are the size of my desk. It's the biggest hands I've ever seen on a
Yeah.
human in my entire life.
Um, I want to put him bottom of A. I can't pick this over Atlanta and Sacramento. Is that fine?
That's fine. As long as they're an A tier.
I just think all these teams are better than the Hornets. Now Steinbach is a great pick there at 14. I mean, he provides a lot of things that the Hornets need at that four spot. Because I do think Miles Bridges' time on the Hornets is slowly but surely coming to an end. And they need a guy that can come in and replace him whenever that time comes. And Steinbach can play the 4 and the 5. They need depth at that big spot, and he can get boards. He can hit threes. He's good, scoring in the post, mid-range area. He's a really good player. And Christian Anderson is one of the better point guards in this draft, in a very top-heavy point guard draft. So, good stuff from the Hornets, I think, at that, especially at that spot in the draft. You do really well there. Next up, Detroit basketball, the Detroit Pistons. They picked 17th. They trade up with Memphis to go get Ibuka Okori at number 17, and then they draft Ugana Onyenso. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but I remember him getting drafted. He was like, "What the?" When he got drafted, he was shocked. But Ibuka Okori, one of the better guards in this draft for sure. I do think there was a better guard on the board that they could have picked here. But I mean, there's really not much I could say. I mean, I really like Ibuka Okori. I like the fact that they have another guard that could come in and provide a scoring spark off the bench. But I do think there was a massive need for a true shooter. So I think they definitely lost out on Ben Sturts. I would have loved for them to get him. But Okori's not a bad, again, we're using consolation prize of not getting Ben Sturts. So anywhere between B and C plus is where I'm thinking for this.
Yeah, I'm going to repost exactly what you just said because I feel you said everything I wanted to say. Personally, I would put them B, just below the Nets, because you get a guy who averaged 23 points. Yeah, he's undersized. Yeah, he did it at Stanford. But at the end of the day, 23 points is 23 points. It's NCAA basketball. You played against tough teams. and you still show that you can get your shots up and make them. So I think it's deserving of a B minus.
Next up, the Toronto Raptors. Death, taxes, and the Raptors drafting a guy that's like 6'7" to 6'9". They pick Allen Gray as Ponchatoula's finest at number 19, and they're the only team that kept their second round pick as well. And they draft Jaden Bradley. You know, I have a Raptor fan friend, and he was not very happy about this. And taking into consideration everything that's been going on. I mean, again, you had a guy that was a very much positional need right there at 19, but you opt to go with another guy that you really didn't need because you have Scotty Barnes, you have Brandon Ingram, you have Colin Murray Boyles. I don't really see where he fits in terms of the full-on rotation of this team. So I'm gonna lean C tier above or probably below Dallas.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, Alan Graves, you're a fine player, but they had one specific player who kept falling that they would have used that could have been a lot more useful, I feel like. So yeah, I'll put them below the Mavericks.
Our next team is going to be the San Antonio Spurs. Oh my goodness. In round one, they had number 20. They go and get Jaden Quaintance, who will probably miss all of next season. He still has another knee procedure to do. But in lieu of that, they trade up with Denver, and they go and get Terrace Reed out of UConn. And then in round two, they get Jacoby Gillespie and Malik Brown. Let me guess. Let me guess where you got them.
I mean, do I even got to speak it? I think you know where I have them.
Yep. Yeah. Goodbye, Bismack Biyombo. Goodbye, Kelly Olynyk. Goodbye, Mason Plumlee. Luke Cornett, you're cool. You ain't going to be around much longer. They saw the Thunder go get a Daymara. They said, you know, we're reloading on these big men too. We're making sure in this scenario, especially in the NBA Finals, what we just watched, you know, Karl-Anthony Towns, if we play you again, you're not going to do what you just did. So, yeah, this definitely belongs in S tier.
I mean, yeah, the whole Spurs issue was that Wemby was having to play all those minutes and that he was getting tired or he was getting into foul trouble at points. And just overall, Wemby wasn't used to that workload. And it's going to take him a little while to get used to that workload. So they need to go get some big men, or at least one big man who can help him out. Go play some physical defense, get some rebounds, keep that interior locked off how Wemby has it locked off. Now, obviously, no one can do that how Wemby does. But you get a guy who's 6'9" with a 7'5" wingspan with the best defensive instincts out of anyone in the entire draft. And then you followed up with going and get arguably the best rebounder in the draft. I mean, 6'10", 260 Terrace Reed Jr. out of UConn. He averaged like 12 rebounds or 10 rebounds or something like that. But in the tournament, he had a game where he had like 20 rebounds.
He averaged 11.8.
Dude, it was disgusting. I mean, as long as the Spurs get guys who can keep that interior locked down for Wemby when he's not on the court, it's considered S tier for me.
Yeah, and people are probably rolling their eyes like, how are these teams above like the Wizards and the Kings and all that? You got to think about where they're drafting, and you have to think about team needs, and you have to think about trades as well.
Yeah, look at where they made it last. These two teams were fighting for the finals last year. One of them made the finals, and one of them was leading for 70% of the finals. And you still go out and get the two best rebounding and defensive prospects in the draft. Holy hell, yeah, you're a winner.
You're S tier. You got anything else on the Spurs? I'm good.
I'm tapped out there too.
Because let's talk about the steal of the draft. The Philadelphia 76ers walk out of here with LeBaron Philon at number 22. I predicted he would fall. I thought it would be to 19. 22 is insane. That's literally all they got was the steal of the draft and LeBaron Philon. I'm anywhere between top of B and bottom of A. I think I might lean top of B because, I mean, backup point guard was huge for them. I mean, I don't even know who's their backup point guard. Campaign last year.
Man,
So
I
they
don't even
needed a
know.
good backup point guard to Maxi. And he can fit alongside VJ. He can even fit alongside Maxi if you put them both on the floor together. This is a home run pick. This is I think I want to put him top of it. I don't think it's quite A tier. I'll put it maybe behind Milwaukee because I
No,
think
this
Milwaukee still did great. But dude, LeBaron Philon is the guy I loved in this draft, and I think he was maybe the third or fourth best maybe even third best point guard in this draft behind fourth behind Flemings, Acuff, and Michael Brown. And for you to get him at 22 on an already great team, hats off to Philly. I think. Are you cool behind Milwaukee?
I'm actually cool with putting him in S here. There's no Dembona replacement. No, I'm kidding. Exactly where you have him. Yes, but in my heart, it's S here for not getting a Dembona replacement. Yeah. In my heart.
Next up, the LA Lakers go out and get Cameron Carr. That's going to be so much fun to watch on the fast break with Luka. I mean, you talk about a guy that can play right away, and that's all they got. Cam Carr at 24. What do you think?
I mean, I love Cam Carr's game. Very athletic. He can three-level scorer. Got decent defense. He's exactly what the Lakers needed off the bench, and I think that he can have a very productive career. If they decide to move on from Austin Reeves, Cam Carr can step in and just take over that role. I think very
you
well.
mean like down the line?
Yeah. I mean, Austin Reeves, they've already explored in the past like a possible trade packages for him, and Austin Reeves has already said before about free agency he doesn't really want to leave the Lakers, but he wouldn't mind looking at other locations.
He resigned.
Well, I know, but he's already expressed it
right,
I don't mind testing the market if I absolutely have to.
Yeah.
And Cam Carr's a guy who can play very well behind him, and if he needs to step into that starting role, considering if Reeves gets injured or if he gets traded for some reason, Cam Carr can step into that role and play very, very well. Now, I don't know where I would have him. I might have them right in the middle of the Bucks and Sixers, but I'm not sure. I'll let you decide that.
I think I'm gonna say definitely above. I think I'm gonna just do above Detroit. I like all these other classes better because I mean they walked out with multiple things except for Golden State. But yeah, I think I'd go right above Detroit.
That's fine.
Up next, the Boston Celtics, who got another steal in this draft. Chris Sinak at number 27. And they draft Dylan Mitchell at number 40. This is another top of B team. I think they belong right next to Philly, whether you want to put them above or below, or maybe you could even put them behind the Clippers. I think I still like the Clippers ahead of the Celtics because the Celtics did need a big man, and they got a steal in Chris Sinak, who showed he could be a stretch big, who showed he has all the tools on both ends of the floor to be a really, really good big man. And that's definitely what the Celtics needed. So if you want to move them up or down, cool. But this is just kind of a baseline for where I think it belongs.
No, I think that's actually perfect, right in front of the Warriors, right below the Clippers. I mean, Chris Sinak's whole thing was he's shown he can be a lob threat. He's shown that he can get rebounds. He can score inside. He can stretch the floor. But his best tool is his switchability on defense. This man, whether it's on the perimeter or it's in the interior or it's like around a free throw line on the elbows, this man is getting to his assignment and he is giving them hell on defense. He might not record the most blocks or steals, but that you don't really need to have stocks to make a defensive impact. This man just makes life a living hell for anyone he switches on to. And the Celtics should be lucky that they grabbed him here. Because there were a lot of mock drafts where he was going inside the top 18. And even before the season started, he was a projected lottery pick. To get him at 27 was a steal.
Yes. All right. Our final team with a first-round pick, the Phoenix Suns, who traded up to number 30 to go and get a guy that we have been talking about for the better part of a year as one of our favorite guys in the draft, Koa Pete. What do you think about that?
Pete. I mean, purely because of Koa's inability to be a reliable shooter, I think they belong at the very bottom of B tier. But Koa Pete, still bully ball, not a bad defender. He's getting to his spots inside. And even when he did shoot threes, it might not have looked the prettiest, but it wasn't the worst. I think he shot like 35%. Now, it was on very minimal attempts, so that number could be a lot lower in reality, but it's not horrible. And as long as you're
35.
willing
35 on 0.2
on
to
the
point
nose,
6, point 6 attempts per game.
yeah, not the best. He's not a shooter by any means, but he can like he's not the worst person to leave open or to like guard. But just for his ability to get inside, play bully ball, I think they belong at the bottom of B tier. They'll get a guy who can get in there and get buckets.
Yeah, you think about all these other guys on the Suns like Rasheer Fleming and Ryan Dunn, and they've done well in that system. So I think Koa P can do well also.
Also Iguodala.
Iguodala, yeah.
Iguodala, I love how he says his last name.
I get it. All right, let's just go in order of these teams that are left in this order. First up, Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers had one of the early picks in round number 2, and they also traded out of the first round from the number 29 slot, and they go get Malik Thomas. That was their only pick. Another steal in this draft, Malik Thomas. So there are so many teams in B tier, and I think this is another one. I'm going to put them in the bottom and move along. Malik Thomas is the dog, and I think he could definitely help. I would have loved them with Caravan, man. I wish they would have stayed at 29 and picked Caravan. I hate Caravan in Sacramento. Sacramento made a great pick. I think it's amazing, but man, I just wish he was on a winning team.
I mean, yeah, he has been like his entire college career. It's kind of sad to see that, but I think I would put the Cavs just above the Sun, just for the pure fact that Malik Thomas was a first round talent as well, like Koa Pete. But Malik Thomas can kind of do everything. He's not limited by anything.
We've got the Miami Heat next up, and we talked about him earlier. Ryan Conwell. I know you said you didn't know much about him, but all you need to know, Ryan Conwell is a shooter, and that's what the Miami Heat needed badly. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to know about Ryan Conwell. Absolute shooter, but you also walked out of this with Giannis. So if we're going based off just the draft, I think C tier is cool. You want to maybe you could even put him B tier, but top of C, I think works for the Miami Heat because Ryan Conwell, he's a guy that can play right away just because of his shooting ability. And the Heat find these diamond in the rough type of players all the time, and I wouldn't be shocked if it's like your next Duncan Robinson. All right, next up is the defending NBA champions, the New York Knicks. Let's see. Can I pull this up, please? The New York Knicks, who they traded out of the first round, and I cannot find them. Hold on, I apologize. The New York Knicks. Okay, so they trade out of the first round. They go grab Jack Cahill at the 39th pick and Tyler Nickel at the 47th pick. I would have loved to see them just stick in the first round, but obviously they said they're not going into the second apron, so they can't afford really to pay a lot of these first-round guys, and they are also looking to go get either Mitchell Robinson coming back or a big man to replace him. There's rumors about like Kevon Looney. So, I mean, I really can't grade this. I mean, I'd put them all the way at the bottom, but the drafting is not what they're trying to do right now. I mean, they're just coming off of a title, and they're trying to build off of that. And they're just going to run it back with the same team, minus Mitchell Robinson, or maybe with Mitchell Robinson again, depending on if a team pays him more than the Knicks can. But they're going to go they're either going to get Mitchell Robinson back or they're going to get a replacement for him. But other than that, they're running back the same team. So they're really not worried about the draft.
Yeah, I don't got any words. Just wherever you want to put them. Don't care.
Orlando Magic. You know what? They really can't be too mad. They can't be too mad because Desmond Bane was amazing for them last season. They give up the pick that turned into Bennett Sturts. So we'll see how that turns out. They traded that to Memphis. Memphis trades that to OKC. So we'll see how all that plays out. But they draft Isaiah Nelson at 51. I mean, we're about to see a lot of C tiers, boys. I'm going to put them above the Knicks. No, I'm putting them behind the Knicks. I'll put him above because you know what? You can't be too mad. You can't be too mad because you still have Desmond Bain, and Desmond Bain was consistently probably y'all's best player throughout the season. So, um, yeah, you really can't be mad. You know what, dude? One circle logo, two circle logo, three circle logo. I mean, how many do we need to do? Like, gee, these are all the Wizards, the Clippers, the Raptors, the Magic. These are all the same thing. Atlanta, Indiana. I mean, geez, can we get creative? Oh my goodness.
Well, if we look closely, one of them is secretly just like a 216 sided circle.
216
Well,
seconds.
no, I'm not being serious. I remember I saw someone in the comments just like I saw a comment on the video to like how there's like no creativity in basketball, look how
Right.
they're all
It's
circles.
just an archetype of basketball in the middle, text all around in a circle.
I know. And someone in the comments said it's not a circle, it's a 216 sided square.
All
It
right.
looks like a circle.
I feel really strongly about this next team, and that's the Denver Nuggets, the losers of this draft, bro. Just stay at 26. Just stay at 26 and get Jokic some help. Like, what are we doing? They trade back with the Spurs for 2 second-round picks, I believe. They take a flyer on Trayvon Brazile, who is very athletic, but doesn't really know what to do with it and does not have a very polished offensive game. And then Bryce Hopkins, who I've heard of the name, don't really know much about, but I mean, get Jokic some help. You could have had some guys at 26. You could have got Chris Sinak at 26, who would be, or even Terrace Reed, who the Spurs end up picking, who would probably be the best backup big that Jokic has ever had so far in his career. I mean, obviously you had Valanciunas, who, maybe if it was Raptors or Pelicans Valanciunas, you'd feel better, but he's just not the same JV. I almost want to put in a D tier for the Nuggets because I think y'all are the losers of this draft. Get Jokic first round talent help. I mean, they're not going to do anything anyway. I mean, I hope they shock me, but they're probably not going to do anything anyway. You guys are the losers of the draft to me.
I think you're being a little bit hard on Brazil. I mean, I am a Brazil man. I do like him a lot. His athleticism is very nice, and he has good defense. I think you're overrating on him just a little bit, but I do completely agree that they should have stayed at 26 and got Jokic some help.
Next up, the Indiana Pacers. The Indiana Pacers, obviously what happened in the lottery happened. They made the Zubats trade, and they give up the pick that became Keaton Wagler. But hey, Braden Smith at 38. This is another C-tier team, though.
What about the Knicks?
Above the Knicks? I put them above Orlando.
That's fine.
Yeah. Braden Smith is a really good player, one of the best passers in this draft, maybe the best passer in this draft. So, you know what? Good bench piece, maybe, if he plays. Next up, we've got my New Orleans Pelicans, who, again, looking back on it, not bad. Given the fact that the reason they didn't have a first-round pick, all good. But we get Jaron Pierre Jr. out of SMU, New Orleans native, went to St. Aug, so shout out to him.
I wasn't in a car. It's a horrible mistake to make. They're like rivals.
Yeah. Not much to say there. He probably won't play that much, but hey, he's a good scorer, and he's got some size. So, fine with me. It's a cosign for me. Our second to last team is the Houston Rockets, who traded up to have the first pick of the second round, and they go get Bruce Thornton out of Ohio State, the Ohio State basketball all-time leading scorer. And Lord knows they needed a scorer in that backcourt off the bench. So I think this is a great pick. Maybe they go bottom of B, but I don't think so. I think they're.
I was thinking right in front of the Raptors.
Right in front of Toronto. I'm cool with that. And our final team, the Minnesota Timberwolves, who, of course, made that trade to move out of the first round, go into the second round. And in the second round, they go and they get Isaiah Evans out of Duke. And at 59, they pick Trey Kaufman-Renn. Surprise, another C tier.
I will put them right. I will put them right below the Rockets because Isaiah Evans, this dude can shoot the ball. His defense is insane, and he has arguably the highest motor out of anyone in this entire draft. I love Isaiah Evans so much.
For sure. All right, looking back on this, I really don't think I want to move anything. I think we did well. I really do think we did well. for this tier list. I don't think there's anything I would change here.
Neither do I. I think this is very, very nice.
All right. Well, it is a long episode, but we did promise you guys that we're going to give you the first ever Unpacked segment. So let's get this off the screen and let's get straight to it. We had plans to talk about multiple things here, but we might just keep it to the one. Obviously, we Unpacked, to introduce Unpacked. It's kind of new off-season thing, kind of help you guys get a little glimpse into the real lives of the Pack That podcast, and just talk about some funny stuff that's happened in our lives and just life in general. So,
Yeah, I mean,
we talked about this episode was supposed to, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think this is actually the perfect day to do this. I think honestly, what I want to do, instead of making this, we'll do it for this episode, obviously, because it's already been this long. But I think what I want to do in the future is I want to end this off. I want to do an Unpacked segment every Saturday, just to end the week off.
Okay.
Everyone knows Sunday start of a new week, because just in case one of our viewers had a bad week, they need a laugh. They can come on to here and they can hear some stories to make. And they'll realize, you know what? Maybe my week wasn't so bad. Maybe the thing that happened to me wasn't as awful as the things that I'm about to hear from Mason and Earl. So who knows?
Well, we mentioned at the beginning of this episode that this was supposed to come out yesterday. We were supposed to do this yesterday, but we had some conflicting issues.
As a matter of fact, the talking point of this Unpacked is the reason as to why I couldn't do this yesterday.
So, hey, please go ahead. Take the
All right. I don't know who all our viewers are, but I'm assuming most of, if not all of you, have felt the displeasure of trying to move furniture. I'll tell you what, it's not a fun experience. For my family, it is way harder because I live with older people, and they are not disabled, but they do not have a lot of spunk left. They are old, they are arthritic. So all the heavy lifting, unfortunately, falls on to me for the most part. Well, we had to go pick up a new dining room set, and it's not just any dining room set. My grandma managed to find the exact dining room set that we have in my dining room right now. But ours is old, it's decrepit, it's falling apart. She managed to find this identical set at some lady's house about 30 minutes away, and she said, "Great, we're gonna buy it. We're gonna go run a U-Haul. We're gonna go pick all that up." So, for those of y'all who aren't in Louisiana listening to this, it is about, 1,000 degrees outside for the rest of the summer. But no, it's like 95, but it had a feel like of 106 because of the humidity, and that's not a joke. That is literally what it was.
That's life here.
So, important to mention that that it's me, my two grandparents. My grandma is only about 5'5", 150 pounds. She cannot lift all this heavy shit. Now, my grandfather, about 6'1", 230. He has the build for it, but he has arthritis. He has early onset Parkinson's. He has COPD. He has osteoarthritis. He has about every health ailment you can possibly think of for a 70-something-year-old man. So his lifting days are pretty much done. Pretty much by myself. And by the way, all this furniture is made of wood. It's heavy as fuck. It's awful. So I had to move 6 chairs. I had to move a dining room table. And I had to move a 2-piece hutch with glass in it, pretty much by myself. Now, yes, my grandpa and grandma helped me load the stuff, but I'm doing 85% of the lifting and like moving and getting all the ratchet straps tied down, make sure nothing sliding around in the back of the truck. So after we're done, I close the back of the U-Haul, and now I have to go load the ramp. Well, me being tall, I'm about 6'4" in my shoes. So, and the ramp comes about to crotch level with me. If I lift it any higher, it's gonna be at an angle, won't slide in. So I got to keep it about crotch level. I'm walking with it, and I guess I had off-centered it a little bit. I don't know if I was going too fast or if it was off-centered, but this ramp abruptly just stops. And I'm still walking. It stopping smacked me dead in the cojones. Hard as hell. And since I'm still walking forward, my legs are moving, which then caused me to hyperextend my right knee. So now I'm about to cry in front of this woman who just bought furniture from, because holy hell, I'm in horrific pain. My nuts are tingling. My leg feels like it's about to fall off the bone. It is horrendous. So then we get home. And now we can't just leave the shit in the U-Haul. We got to take it back. So guess who has to unload all of this by himself now with tingling nuts and a bad knee? Me. It is not fun. So the next 45 minutes of my life is me fighting back the urge to pass out and scream at everyone trying to help me because they're doing it wrong. We finally got the table and chairs in, got the old ones out. And I must say, it does look a lot better. But guess who has to go downstairs and help move the hutch right after this recording ends? Me. So
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. Yeah, I went and moved furniture not too long ago. When my cousin was moving, but luckily their new house is 2 minutes away from their old house, so it wasn't as difficult. We did have a U-Haul. I rode in the back of it for a little bit, so that was cool. Some lady looked at me like I was crazy, but yeah, I mean it's very unpleasant at times. We had to move.
the sofa, it's in the other room.
Yeah, we moved that. We moved the mattress. Their mattress is so heavy. Like I've never seen anything like it. I don't know what's in that thing, but it took four of us, four grown men, to
To move one
move
mattress.
the mattress. It's insane. Like it wasn't like firm. It was like
Just heavy as hell.
it was just heavy as hell. We had to put it in the bag, and we had to get handles, but it was sliding all through the bag. Ah, that was awful. Um, but yeah, speaking of moving around, we did something a couple days ago. We went to a good old place called Chalmette, and we talked about him a couple times in this episode, but we saw Mr. Mitchell Robinson. And Mitchell Robinson, you sent us a video in the group chat that he just came back to Chalmette just to flex on us.
That's
He showed
literally
his
what he
whole
did.
car collection. He brought a couple of his big ass trucks.
This man didn't bring all the only shit this man brought that was even reminiscent of the New York Knicks in any way was the t-shirt he was wearing in that one truck with the white, orange, and blue. That is the only
Did,
thing
did,
that he brought,
did he
bro.
not wear? Oh no, he was wearing a cowboy hat, wasn't he? He
Yeah, he
wasn't
was
wearing
wearing a
the
cowboy
championship
hat.
hat. Yeah.
This dude, I don't know if y'all have seen Mitchell Robinson's car collection. Y'all might have seen his truck collection. That by itself was impressive. Didn't know this man owned like 3 or 4 Dodge Scat Packs and that kind of stuff. And let me tell you this: in person, I have seen some big cars, big trucks in my life.
Yeah.
I have never seen a truck so unnecessarily big for a regular human. Well, I say regular, like he's not 7 foot tall. But
Yeah.
even for 7 foot tall, that's gotta be a pain in the ass to get into, dude.
Right. Yeah.
Like things the size of my fucking roof is you gotta climb into it every day, pretty much.
There's not many cars that are probably a comfortable fit for somebody that's 7'1". I mean, for Christ's sake, Wemby only rides in a Sprinter van everywhere.
I mean,
So
Manute Bol had to buy a car and have the front seat taken out. He had to drive his car from the back seat.
yeah. Uh, do we want to talk about or wait. And then at the end of it, we're not done here. At the end of it, this was all by Chalmette High School. So it's a huge high school. So it's like it goes across 2 streets. So eventually it ends by like the football field, and Mitchell Robinson goes back. I think he went back to like the gym, the basketball gym, and they only let certain people go back there. I don't know what the event was. We know now they made June 25th National or Louisiana Mitchell Robinson Day. So that's cool. So I guess that was the ceremony in there that we weren't allowed into. I don't know. It was just there, and there was so much security for him. You would have thought Jalen Brunson himself was there.
No, Mitchell Robinson, bro. When we tell y'all there had to be minimum 30 cop cars, 100 cops around, it's not an exaggeration. It is.
Yeah.
I think the president has less security than Mitchell Robinson had at this event. Like I've never seen so many barricades, so many cop cars, and so many cops for someone as I would say as when I say this, I don't mean he's actually this word, but just in comparison to other people, for someone as irrelevant to the world as Mitchell Robinson. they treated him like he's a world leader.
Absolutely. All right. One last thing, because we literally brought it up as we were talking about like the Wizards or the Jazz or something. WWE Night of Champions is going down as we speak, and we glaze Obafemi. That's our both of our favorite wrestler at the moment. If you don't know Obafemi, you need to just do your research. You'll understand why we glaze him as much as we do. He had a feud with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar retired, then he faked the retirement and he won. So we were all worried going into this match that Oba was going to lose because Brock Lesnar was going to come out. And it didn't help that he was facing a guy that literally everybody used to love and now all hates because they gave him a huge win and he didn't do anything with it in Jey Uso. So we were like, damn it, Jay's going to win. Oba, but Oba wins. They finally did something right. So thank God for that. So what is it going to be? Oba versus Roman?
I'm so down for that. The ruler meets the head of the table.
And then I didn't say this. I didn't want to interrupt our tier list for more wrestling folklore. But Danhausen versus Liv Morgan.
No, I heard you say, "Oh my God!" mid-segment. I was gonna ask what it was. But
Danhausen cursed Liv Morgan, and Io Sky beat her, and it's gonna be Io versus Liv at SummerSlam. And then
I figured it was you.
Seth Rollins beat Braun Breaker in the steel cage match.
I figured you saying "Oh my God" was you like seeing the end of the Oba and Jay match, like seeing how Oba won. But no, it's apparently it's you going "Oh my God" to watching this seeing Danhausen curse Liv Morgan.
Well, yeah, she's my God, dude, she lost, so she's gonna lose to Io, bro. Give Io every championship, bro. Io is the GOAT. We love Io.
Why did he curse Liv Morgan? What did Liv Morgan do, bro?
Well, she went up to him that one time on Raw I saw, and she was getting all like provocative with him. Danhausen's not into that stuff. Danhausen is a married man.
Getting provocative.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, he's a better man than me. I would have folded if Liv Morgan went up to me on that type of timing. But yeah, that's a conversation for another day. But yeah. So what's even the main event? It's the triple threat. It's Cody, Gunther, Sami Zayn. That should be a pretty good match.
When are those matches watching. Are those like tomorrow or something? Is this like a today event or just like a one?
Oh no, it's just one day. It's not WrestleMania or SummerSlam.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not watching, so all I cared about was that Obafemi won and he won. So you know what? I can't complain. Is there anything we've been at it for an hour and 32? I think we saved the mission for the 2027 NBA season for next year.
Yeah, I think so. And I think then we come back on next Saturday to do the next segment of Unpacked.
And I think it was very productive today. Well, thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed the tier list, the trade talks, and of course our first ever Unpacked segment. So we'll see you guys again for the next episode, whatever that may be, next week. Thanks for watching again. Make sure you support us. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode. If you're on the audio platforms, like us, follow us, do all that stuff that you can to support. Thanks for listening.
And make sure to go vote for senator today if you're in Louisiana. I learned that today.
You heard it here first. Thank you guys for listening. And we'll see you in the next episode. Peace, y'all.